Hey everyone, welcome. Today we're diving deep into something absolutely fundamental in ServiceNow, user administration. We're going to lay out the blueprint for mastering this from the ground up.
All right, so here's the game plan. We'll start with the basic building blocks, the users themselves. Then we'll see how to organize them into groups, figure out what they can actually do with roles, and then, this is the big one, unpack the power of inheritance. And to wrap it all up, we'll check out a couple of super handy admin power tools. Let's get into it.
Okay, first things first, let's talk about the absolute foundation of the whole system, the individual user accounts. So, what exactly is a user account? Well, it's way more than just a username and password. Think of it as the digital ID for every single person who touches the system. And all this info lives in one specific place, a table called sysuser. And here's a little inside baseball for you. That sys at the beginning, that's ServiceNow's way of telling you this is a core, out-of-the-box system table. It's the bedrock for everything we're about to build.
Okay, so how do these users get into the system in the first place? You've got a few options here. But honestly, in the real world, most big companies use integration. They'll sync it up with their HR system so it's all automatic. Super efficient, less room for error. But, to really get a feel for how it works under the hood, we're going to focus on how to do it manually.
All right, here's a little pro tip that trips up almost everyone when they're starting out. You see these two buttons, Submit and Save? They both save your work, but they do slightly different things. Submit saves and kicks you back to the list you came from. Save, on the other hand, saves your changes but keeps you right there on the user's form. It seems like a tiny thing, but knowing the difference can save you a ton of unnecessary clicks. Trust me.
Now, these three little checkboxes, they're basically the remote control for a user's entire life in the system. Password needs reset. That's what you'll check for new hires to force them to create a secure password right away. Active's pretty self-explanatory. It means they're, active in the company. And locked out, that's your offboarding switch. When someone leaves, you check this box. It instantly revokes all their access, but, and this is key, it doesn't delete their record. You keep that history, which is super important for audit.
So, we've got our users. Great, but what happens when you have hundreds or even thousands of them? Trying to manage each person one by one would be an absolute nightmare. It just doesn't work at scale. And that's exactly why we have groups.
So you might be thinking, why do I even need groups? Can't I just handle each user as they come?
Well, here's why that's a bad idea. Groups let you organize people logically, by department, by location, whatever makes sense. But the real reason, the absolute #1 reason we use groups is for assigning permissions. It is without a doubt the most effective way to manage who can do what. And that's really the heart of good administration.
Okay, so we've put our people into logical buckets using groups. Now it's time to give those buckets some keys to unlock parts of the system. And in ServiceNow, those keys are called roles.
Yeah, a key card is the perfect analogy, right? It doesn't matter who you are as a person, what matters is what doors your key card can open. A role works the exact same way. It's just a collection of permissions, a bundle that says, hey, anyone who has this role can see these menus and click these buttons. It's all about what you can do.
Now you can create all sorts of custom roles, but you've got to know the big three that come out of the box. First, you've got admin. That's the master key, the God mode. It can do everything. Then there's idle. This is for your IT support folks, the people working on incidents and requests. And finally, SNC_internal. This is the basic role you give to pretty much every employee, so they can log in, create tickets, and see their stuff. Honestly, if you understand just these three, you're already halfway to being a great admin.
All right, everybody lean in for this next part, because this is the aha moment. This is where all the pieces we've talked about, users, groups, roles, click together. If you get this one concept, you've unlocked the secret to managing ServiceNow effectively at any scale.
This right here, this is the golden rule. Tattoo it on your brain. You assign roles to groups, not directly to users. Let's dig into why this is so incredibly important.
And this is where the magic happens. It's called inheritance. You give a role to a group and bam, every single user in that group automatically gets all the permissions from that role. Think about it. Let's say your entire help desk team needs access to a new tool. Instead of going into 50 different user accounts and adding the role one by one, you just add the role to the help desk group. One click, you're done. It's beautiful.
And what's really cool is that the system is smart about this. If a user has a role because they're in a group, you can't just go to their user profile and take it away. ServiceNow literally won't let you. The inherited flag is checked. To remove that role, you have to take them out of the group. This is a brilliant feature because it forces you to stay organized and prevents that messy situation where everyone has a random collection of permissions and nobody knows why.
And believe it or not, this inheritance idea goes even one level deeper. You can have roles that contain other roles, kind of like Russian nesting dolls. We call them parent and child roles. The admin role is the perfect example. It's a parent that contains over 40 other child roles inside of it. So when you give someone admin, you're actually giving them 41 roles at once. It's an incredibly powerful way to bundle up permission.
All right, to wrap things up, let's look at two awesome power tools that every admin needs to know about. These really build on everything we've just discussed.
First up, impersonation. Oh man, this one is a lifesaver. You ever get a ticket where a user says, "I can't see the button," and you're looking at your screen and the button is right there? It's so frustrating. Well, with impersonation, you can literally log in as them. You see the platform exactly as they see it, with their permissions, their views, everything. It turns a 30-minute troubleshooting email chain into a 30-second fix. It's a total game changer.
Next is delegation. You can think of this as the out-of-office assistant for ServiceNow. Let's say a manager who needs to approve a bunch of requests goes on vacation. Without delegation, everything just stops. Work grinds to a halt. But with this, they can delegate their approvals to someone else for the week. The business keeps moving, nothing gets stuck, and it's all tracked so you know exactly who approved what and when.
So after all this, what's the big takeaway? What's the real goal here? Because it's not just about clicking buttons to create accounts. It's much bigger than that. It's about architecture. It's about building a system.
What we're really doing is building a framework, a smart, scalable, and secure framework where the right people get the right access at the right time. When you get this right, the system works for you, not against you. It becomes manageable, auditable, and just clean.
And I'll leave you with this one last thought. We talk a lot about security, which is obviously crucial. But this structure we've built, it's also about the entire user experience. What you give people access to, what you hide from them, that is their reality in the platform. So the question is, how does this relationship between users, groups, and roles shape not just what's possible, but how people feel when they use the system? Something to think about. Thanks for joining me.